A friend asked me something last week. She just got a cat about 3 months ago, and she said, "Honestly, I'm a little jealous of you." I said, "Jealous of what?" She said, "You have a dog, so you have to go outside every single day." I have a cat. I just come home and lie down. Nothing to do. It is perfect. I laughed and said, "Yeah, that does sound nice." But on the walk home that night, I couldn't let it go. Why is that? Why is that actually true? We both have a pet. Her cat, my dog. Both mammals. Both animals that have lived next to humans for thousands of years. So why does she get to collapse on the couch? And why am I the one pulling my jacket back on and heading out the door? The more I sat with it, the stranger it got. Because when you really look at it, almost every pet on the planet does not need this. Cats don't need walks. Rabbits don't need walks. Hamsters don't. Chinchillas, hedgehogs, goldfish, turtles, parrots, not one of them. Only dogs. And it is not a once-in-a-while thing. It is every day, at least once, twice, if you're doing it properly. Rain, snow, freezing cold, none of it gets you out of it. You're sick, you still go. You're working late, you still go. You're exhausted, you're sad, you want to lie on the floor and not move. You still go. The whole human race has just quietly agreed to this for thousands of years. And almost nobody stops to ask the obvious question. Why? So I started looking into it. And I'll be honest, I expected a boring answer. Exercise, bathroom breaks, burning off energy. But the deeper I went, the more those answers fell apart. Because here is the thing, none of them can explain. You can put a dog in a huge backyard. Let them run around for an entire afternoon. And they will still come back inside restless. Still pacing. Still chewing the corner of the couch. Still sitting by the front door looking like something is missing. But take that same dog out on a leash, just 20 minutes around the block, and they come home calm, settled asleep on the floor within minutes. 20 minutes outside the gate beats a whole day inside it. That should not be possible unless there is something out there, something that simply does not exist inside that backyard. And that something for your dog is closer to a need than a luxury. I found out what it is. And after I did, I started looking at my own dog differently. I started looking at that leash by the door differently. Give me the next few minutes. By the end of this, you will too. Let's start with what almost everyone believes. Dogs need walks because dogs need exercise. And that is true, but it is the smallest, thinnest slice of the truth. Because if exercise were the whole answer, a backyard would solve it. A dog could just run around a fenced space for 30 minutes and be done. Every owner who has tried that knows it doesn't work. The dog is still restless. Something is still missing. And what is missing is the exact thing every other pet in your home doesn't need. Now, before I tell you what that missing thing is, I want you to keep something in mind. This is not the answer most articles give you. Most of them stop at exercise. That is the surface. The real answer is something hardly anyone talks about. And once you hear it, you will start seeing it in your own dog within a day. So stay with me. Here is where it starts to make sense. Your dog does not live in the same world you live in. You live in a world made mostly of what you see. Your dog lives in a world made mostly of what they smell. The part of a dog's brain built for processing smell is, compared to ours, about 40 times larger. But that number alone doesn't capture what is really going on. Because for a dog, smell is not just a sense. Smell is information. Smell is news. A single tree on your street is, to your dog, something like a community notice board. Which dogs walked past here? How long ago? Were they male or female? Were they nervous? Were they sick? Were they healthy? Where were they heading? One sniff at the base of one streetlight tells your dog more about the neighborhood than an hour of scrolling tells you about yours. And this is exactly why the backyard fails. The backyard is old news. The smells there are the dog's own smells. Familiar, stale, read 100 times. It is like being handed the same single page of the same newspaper. Every day. For years. The walk is the opposite. The walk is a fresh addition. New things happened overnight. Other dogs moved through. Weather shifted everything. For your dog, the walk isn't exercise. The walk is the day's information finally arriving. And there is one study I really want to tell you about, because it is the closest thing I found to actual proof of what a walk really is. Researchers took two groups of dogs, gave them the same amount of walking time, but changed one single thing between the groups. And that one thing completely changed how the dogs came home. I'll get to exactly what they found in just a moment. But first, here is the question that actually started all of this. Why doesn't any other pet need this? And the answer goes back a very long way. Cats are solitary hunters. A cat's whole evolutionary strategy is built around a fixed territory, a patch of the world they know completely. Same rocks, same corners, same routes. For a cat, safety is sameness, which is why a cat can live a full, content life inside one apartment. Their nervous system was built for a small, stable world. Rabbits and hamsters are prey animals. Their survival strategy is to find one safe spot and stay in it. For them, wandering is danger, not enrichment. But dogs came from wolves. And a wolf is one of the most cognitively demanding animals on Earth. A wolf pack moves across 15 to 30 miles of territory in a day. Not because they're hunting that whole range, but because checking it, marking it, updating it, reading it, is the core mental work of being a wolf. That requirement did not disappear when wolves became dogs. It was passed down completely. Every dog alive is carrying a wolf's daily need to move through the world and read it. And the walk is the only way modern life lets them do it. Now, that study I promised you. The researchers found that the dogs allowed to stop and sniff freely came home calmer, happier, with measurably lower stress. The dogs walked the same distance, but kept moving, not allowed to stop. Came home physically tired, but mentally unsettled. Same minutes, same steps. The only difference was whether they got to read the world or just pass through it. And it changed everything about how they felt for the rest of the day. So here is where this becomes useful for you. I'm going to give you one specific change, something you can do on your very next walk. You don't need new gear. You don't need more time. You just need to understand one thing about how a walk should actually work. And I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. Most of us walk our dogs the wrong way. Not cruelly, not carelessly, just the wrong way. We treat the walk like a distance to be covered. We keep the leash short. We keep moving. We gently pull them along. And from your dog's point of view, that is like being dragged through a library at a fast walk, past every book they wanted to read. The information is right there, and they're not allowed to stop and take it in. A walk where the dog gets to stop, sniff, linger, and choose the pace has a name some behaviorists half-jokingly use, a sniffari. And a 30-minute sniffari will leave a dog more satisfied than an hour of fast, no stopping walking, because the point was never the distance. The point was always the information. So here is the one change. The next time you walk your dog, stop measuring the walk in minutes. Start measuring it in stops. When your dog freezes at a patch of grass and sniffs for 40 seconds, they are not wasting your time. They are reading a paragraph. Let them finish it. Let them choose where to stop, at least for part of the walk. You will watch your dog come home like a different animal. Calmer, quieter, settled in a way no amount of running ever achieved. Here is the part that stays with me. Every time you clip on that leash, you are not just taking an animal outside. You are giving them access to the one world their brain was actually built for. For the rest of the day, your dog lives in a space far smaller and quieter than what their mind was designed to handle. The walk is the one window where their brain gets to run at full speed. That is why the leash, the word walk, the jingle of keys, sends them into a kind of joy that can look almost ridiculous. It is not that the walk is fun. It is that the walk is the moment they get to be fully, completely a dog. Your dog is the only animal in your home with a brain built for this. Cats inherited stillness. Rabbits inherited hiding. Your dog inherited the long daily journey of the wolf. You didn't create that need. You took it on the day you brought a dog into your life. And that small, repeated, easy to overlook walk is one of the most important things you do for them. Now you can see it, and you will never look at that leash by the door the same way again. If this changed how you think about your walks, share it with one person who walks their dog every day and has never once asked why. Subscribe to Canine Decode. Every week, we translate what your dog has been trying to tell you. They've been talking the whole time. It is time we learned to listen.